Hello guys, please let me know if I'm audible to you. Just let me know I'm audible in the YouTube chat. That's good enough. Okay, that's great. Thank you. So just please let all your friends know. We'll be starting in a couple of minutes. It's already too late, so we won't be able to wait too long. Okay, guys, let's get started. So thank you all coming for the orientation for Acumen, the quiz club of IITG. So first we'll have a small look into, let's keep the quiz club aside for now. Let's have a small look into what quizzing is when you arrive at a university, how it differs from the quizzing you've known so far. What is quizzing for you guys? So how many of you have quizzed before? Spam emotes in the chat if you have. At any level, school or even Olympiads and stuff like that. The essential difference between how quizzing works at the college level and the school level is very different, and that's sort of what we're looking at. So when you talk about college level quizzing, what comes to your mind first? Is this because, trust me, it's definitely not. At least when we're talking about the quiz club here. We've had enough of college quizzes right now, so we'll have a look into the real quizzes that are much more fun, at least from our side. When you think of quizzes at the school level, it's basically these sort of questions: Who was the first man on the moon, or who was the first woman to go to space? Boring, mundane, and it's very straightforward. It's general GK. So, how do college quizzes usually differ from this? This is how a usual college quiz question looks like. The question is, who is welcoming whom during the latter's visit to the Yuri Gagarin Center in Russia? Now, the answer is obviously not immediately in front of you, but it can be brought about by cracking the question and seeing where you can solve it. So clearly, this question has something to do with space. Because you have Yuri Gagarin in the background. And considering the timeline, it's pretty obvious that there could only be one woman that would have the honor of welcoming the man to the Space Center. So obviously, like you guys are saying in the chat, the answer is Valentina Tereshkova welcoming Neil Armstrong. So that's how college quizzing usually differs from what you learn, what you've known as quizzing at school and everything. So coming to the quiz club, what is the IITG quiz club? The IIT quiz club, which is people who love quizzing, uh, we organize quizzes on various topics, and by various, we truly mean various. We have something that everybody is interested in, be it fiction, Netflix, anything, true crime, business, sports. We even organize quizzes on cricket or football and stuff like that. We also take part in a lot of intercollegiate quizzing events representing IITG against institutes like IIM and IIT Madras and IIT Bombay in both inter-IITs and our annual quizzing fest that contains both colleges from IIT and IIM. That's basically who we are. So if you have any questions, please ask them before we go ahead, because from now on, we'll be starting the quiz. Okay. So let's get to the prelims round of the quiz. The quiz will happen in two parts, which is the prelims and the finals. During the prelims, it's 15 questions and it's lone wolf. There are no teams. So the teams portion of the quiz will come to later. As for the answers to the quiz, you will get a form and you have to fill it in the form. So just like note down the answers for now, and we'll be sending a form at the end of the round to sort of, yeah, guys, please don't spam in the chat because, anyways, let's start. Please note down the answers. At the end of the round, we'll ask you to submit all the answers in one in a Google form. Okay, cool. Let's go. And as always, the motto is to have fun and do your best. So the top 30 from this quiz will qualify for the finals. They'll be divided into 10 teams of 3 each. For now, it's lone wolf, and the 30 highest scores will pass. If you write answers on the Google, on the YouTube chat, I will have to ban you. I'm sorry for that. Okay, so now that we're ready, yeah, just keep the answers with you. And at the end of the round, after all the 15 questions are done, we'll be sending a Google form and then you can fill it in there. Or I can just turn off the chat if that's an issue. Okay, we'll be starting in a minute. Okay, guys, let's start the quiz. Okay, so there are 15 questions in the prelims. Each question will carry 1 mark. Question 1, 7, 9, 10, and 15 are start questions that will be used to resolve types. Basically, if there are any if there are any people who get the same amount, same score, these are the priority questions. If you score more in these questions, that means you have a higher chance of getting to the next round. Hence, will be given a quizmaster's discretion based on how the audience feels about the difficulty of the question. Okay, let's get started. The first, so again, keep the answers with you, 15 answers, and please do not type anything in the chat. I've tried to disable live chat. Uh, yeah. First question. So we're talking about a logo here, and I've described the concept of the logo here. The logo is based on the concept of sound connection between the mind, body, and soul. The concept underlines the deep philosophy of cosmic beliefs in the field of yoga. And the triad is connected with sound training and education that creates a unified assimilation of true Indian values of education. So, which logo am I talking about here? That's your first question. Okay, that was the first question. Now, let's move on. Any hints required? Okay. Guys, once again, please don't spam answers in the chat. It's getting too much. I've turned on chat because you guys can ask for hints. Please don't abuse that. Hang on. I'll just try to disable chat. Yes, there still seems to be confusion as to where you have to submit the answers. I'm just saying, just keep it with you. A form link will be provided at the end of all the questions. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's the problem solved then. Yeah. Moving on to the second question. So I'll be showing you guys a painting right now, and you have to tell me why it's important scientifically. It's obviously a very famous painting and it's important from all perspectives, but there is a certain scientific sense to this painting. And here is the painting. It's The Adoration of Maggie by Giotto, painted in 1301. Pay close attention to the painting and tell me why this would be scientifically important. Since I've disabled the YouTube chat because answers are being spammed, you can ask for hints via Discord, the general channel. Once again, keep the answers to yourself, and we will let you know at the end. We'll send a form where you can submit all the answers. Moving on to the third question, are there any hints required for this question? Okay, as for a hint, the hint, it's very clear in the picture itself, and the whatever is happening, whatever this significance is scientifically, it's not the subject of the picture. This is not the reason that Giotto has painted this picture, but it was just a coincidence that it ended up in the painting, and which is why it's important scientifically. If you look closely, you'll be able to see it. Moving on to the third question. ID X. So X is a company, or essentially we're talking about a logo here, which is the logo of X. So V838 Monocerotis is a red variable star in the constellation Monoceros, about 20,000 light years away from the Sun. And it's possibly one of the largest known stars for a short period following the supernova. Recently, there were a few images taken by the Hubble Space Telescope. It went viral because it was very similar to a logo that was that is there for a company, which is a system of interlinked hypertext documents, which is the brainchild of Sir Tim Berners-Lee. So, if you know where Sir Tim Berners-Lee is famous for, this question should be very easy to you. This is the image of the star. So, just tell me, which logo does this represent? Which logo does this resemble very closely? This is the reason that the image went viral. Any hints, guys? Or are we ready to move on to the next question? Okay, moving on to the next question if there are no hints required. Fourth question. The term X was added to the Merriam-Webster dictionary database in 2017, which defines it as a favorite pastime of millennials, although this is not its main definition. What is X, which all of us are now familiar because all of us do it, especially after the advent of Netflix? It is a term that was added to the dictionary in 2017, and it's defined as the favorite pastime of millennials, which is not, it's not exactly the main definition of the word, but that's just the description that Merriam-Webster gives. So the hints are obvious, so I will not be giving a hint in this question. It's pretty clear, advent of Netflix and 2017. So it's pretty straightforward. Moving on to the next question. This is a Cricinfo profile of a player. Born 22nd May 1859 and died 7 July 1930. And he played for the Melbourne Cricket Club. So who is this person? Any hints required, guys? Okay. The hint is basically that this person is not, while although he is a cricketer and he did play 10 first class matches for the club, you wouldn't know him from cricket. Why would a person that play only 10 first class matches be famous for cricket? It's obviously there's something else that he's famous for. So just look for that connection there and keep in mind the timeline of when he played. Moving on to the sixth question. So these are four companies that are believed to be behind the development of something, according to some conspiracy theorists. What did they allegedly develop? These four companies are Samsung, Toshiba, Nakamichi, and Motorola. Moving on to the seventh question. Okay, this is a star mark question, which means it's priority in case of a tie. So we're talking about a dish here, culinary invention. The dish is a French Provençal stewed vegetable dish originating in Nice. It was at first merely a course stew. The modern day fancy version of this traditional dish was first created by French chef Michael Gourard. It involves cooking very thinly sliced veggies over a bell pepper and tomato mixture called piperade, and then baking it in the oven for a whopping 2.5 hours. This dish became very famous after it was emulated on the big screen in 2007. A movie was made based on this dish, around this dish. and the protagonist version of the dish, which differed slightly, was usually sought after. What is the dish called? Uh, so essentially, there was a movie made around this dish where the protagonist is making this dish in the movie, which obviously in the real world people really liked the depiction of it on the big screen. So it was very widely sought after because people wanted to try it. So what is this dish? Any hints required, guys? Okay, no hints. People are saying no hints. Okay, if the majority is saying no hints, then I will not be providing hints. Moving on to the next question, the eighth question. So, when the Mughals invaded India, they brought along their own cuisine, which we now know very well, biryani, and just some examples of them. So, they did not take to any Indian food items at all, except there was one item that they really, really liked. They adopted the Indian tradition with respect to this item and how it is consumed. And they decided that no feast is complete without this item, even liking it so much that this dish is even popular in the Middle East now, where the Mughals originated from. Which dish is this? Which is such an integral component of any feast in India. Anywhere you see communal eating, there's a lot of people eating, marriages and stuff, this dish will be there without fail, no matter what. What dish am I talking about? Does anyone need hints for this question? I think it's fairly easy. Moving on. Ninth question. Who are we talking about? So I'll be talking about a person here. You guys have to tell me who it is. So the late X, which means he's passed away, sadly. The late X once did a study on 45 matches that England played at the World Cup between 1966 to 2010. And I'm talking about the Football World Cup here. Sorry if that wasn't clear. And he came to numerous interesting conclusions. So he said that England should wear red kits to intimidate their opponents. They should play a 4-3-3 system, and a European referee would increase the chances of winning, as European referees are more sympathetic to the English game and less sympathetic to ballerinas like Luis Suarez. Who is this person that did a study on England's matches at the World Cup for 55 years? Any hints required? Okay. So hint for this, obviously, I mentioned that he is once passed away. But what essentially happened here is the English board approached this person and asked him to do a study on England's matches at the World Cup because even though this person is not involved with football and he can't even play football actually, even though this person isn't involved with football, he's obviously known for his talents as a statistician, which is why he was asked to create these conclusions based on England's matches. So you're essentially looking for a English person who's very good with data. So who's the first person that comes to your mind? Okay, that was a very straightforward hint, so I won't be giving any more. Moving on to the 10th question, two-thirds of our way through the prelims. This you guys should know very well. You guys more than anyone across the country, actually. Igor Yevgenyevich was born to a family of servants in Russia in 1923. He fought in World War II for the Russian army. He was also a draftsman and a cartographer. He graduated in physical and mathematical sciences from the Moscow Engineering Institute, and there was no looking back, inspiring millions to think smart in difficult situations. That's what we all know him best for. How is he better known to us? So his name is obviously Igor Yevgenyevich, but what is his more common name that I'm sure all of us are acquainted with in some way or the other? Please pay attention to the fact that he graduated in physical and mathematical sciences. And obviously, a very big hint is that across the country, no one should know him better than us as IITians. Okay, if that's it, let's move on to the next question, the 11th question. Again, this is also star marked, so it's also an important question for the tiebreaker. 11th question. So I need the term X here. It was said that Zeus once fought his father Cronos for the control of the world. They battled atop a mountain that overlooked a valley in southwestern Greece. After Zeus defeated his father, a temple and immense statue were built in the valley to honor him. This place was called Dash Valley, and soon religious festivals developed there as people came to worship Zeus and to approach as nearly as possible to his great strength that was talked about a lot during the Greek myths and epics. It is believed that these religious festivals eventually evolved and turned into something that is the modern that in the modern day is known as X. What is X here? What did these religious festivals turn into? Since people are saying no hint, I guess this question was pretty easy, which is very good. Moving on to the 12th question. ID the character we're talking about here. For the certain role of an NRI, it is rumored that Saif Ali Khan and even Tom Cruise were considered. This role was eventually played by Shah Rukh Khan. This role was named after a legendary movie actor, and the name of the character was suggested by Aditya Chopra. Identify this character. Now, I don't need like the movie or anything. I need the name of the character and what movie it is from, of course. No worry, guys. At the end of the 15 questions, I'll just cycle through all the questions once again so that you can have a look through anything you missed. Moving on to the 13th question, because this is obviously a very easy question. I mean, if you don't know this, you don't know Bollywood. Moving on. 13th question. ID the building that we're talking about here. Chausath Yogini Temple, Morena, also known as Ekatarso Mahadeva Temple, is an 11th century temple located in Morena district in the Indian state of Madhya Pradesh. The temple is formed by a circular wall with 64 chambers and an open mandapa in the center, separated by a courtyard which is circular in shape, where Shiva is deified. The temple has been declared an ancient historical monument by the Archaeological Survey of India. This monument is said to be the inspiration behind the more famous building of modern India. Name that building. So essentially, we're talking about a building here. This building also inspired another famous, very famous building that is related to modern India. I'll show you a picture of the old temple. Just tell me what modern building did this inspire? That one that we all know. If you don't know the exact name, the description of what that place is will also do. I will show you guys the question once again. This is the image of the building, and this is the name and the description of it. Just you just have to look at the building and guess what building of modern India that old temple has inspired. Moving on, the picture again, if anyone wants to have a look again. The picture is pretty obvious and it shows clearly what building we're looking at. Moving on, the 14th question. What connects this exhaustive list of incidents? Exhaustive list as in these four incidents are the only such incidents in history. There are no incidents anymore. 1910, Adolf Hitler down at the Dash Riviera. The dash is not the answer. I just removed the word because if I had included the word, this would have been very easy. 1935, Francis Cedepa plunged down a ravine on the Col de Galibier. 1967, Tom Simpson died of heart failure during the ascent of Mount Ventoux. Amphetamines were found in his jersey and blood. 1995, Fabio Casatelli crashed at 55 miles per hour while descending the Col de Puerto de Aspe. So these four incidents are the only such incidents in history of this particular type. What type of incidents am I talking about here? Fairly easy. You should specifically pay attention to the missing word here, the word that I've omitted, because that is a big hint. Any hints required, guys? Please let me know on the Discord if there are any hints required. 'Okay. If it's no hints, then let's move on. 15th question, and the last question of this quiz, and it's also a star mark question, so please pay special attention. What do you mean by the word spermology? Now, I know what you guys are thinking, but I can assure you that it's not what you're thinking. What do you mean by the word spermology? What does it define? That is your last question for this prelims. I will cycle through the questions again so that you can have a look again and answer anything you missed. So the Google form will be floated now. So the Google form will be floated in the Acumen the Acumen Discord server's announcements portal. Just have a look there and fill in the form. So fill in your name, phone number, and roll number along with the 15 answers, and you'll be good to go. Now I'll cycle through all the questions again. Question number one, the logo based on the concept of sound connection between the mind, body, and soul. The concept underlies the deep philosophy of cosmic beliefs in the field of yoga. Second, the painting is the Adoration of Magi, painted by Giotto in 1301. Why is this painting very important scientifically? This is the painting. Just have a good look. The answer is right there in the painting. IDX V838 Monocerotis. This is the image. It closely resembles a logo. Which logo does it represent? IDX. X is a term that was added to the Merriam-Webster dictionary in 2017. All of us are now familiar with it because of the advent of Netflix. So that's a big hint. It's obviously connected to online streaming. Fifth question, cricket profile of who? He's only played 10 matches and 18 innings, so obviously he's not famous for cricket. Sixth question, what did these four companies allegedly develop according to conspiracy theorists? Samsung, Toshiba, Nakamichi, Motorola. Seventh question, what is this dish called? It became famous after a movie was made on the dish in 2007. Dish was made by the main protagonist of the movie. Eighth question, what item did the Mughals adopt from Indian cuisine? That is the only item they adopted. And it's generally present at every single feast in India. Who once did a study on 45 matches that England played at the World Cup between 1966 to 2010? And he came up with the following conclusions. He was approached by the Football Association to create this study. And question, Igor Yevgenyevich, he was born to a family of servants. He graduated in the physical and mathematical sciences from the Moscow Engineering Institute. By what name do we all know him by? And we should know him very well as students of IIT. 11th question, Zeus once fought his father Kronos for control of the world. The battle atop a mountain that overlooked a valley. Religious festivals were then held in this valley, which eventually evolved into X. What is X here? ID the character for the certain role of an NRI. It is rumored that Saif Ali Khan and even Tom Cruise were considered. Eventually, the role was played by Shah Rukh Khan. This role was named after a legendary movie actor suggested by Aditya Chopra. Identify this character. 13th question. Temple that inspired a modern building. This is the temple. Which building did it inspire is the question. 14. What connects this exhaustive list of incidents? These are the four incidents of people dying in some way. These are the only four cases of it ever happening. 15. What do you mean by swomology? The question, the answers form is up on the Discord announcements channel. Please fill it in as I will be closing it soon. Form will close in 2 minutes, and I urge you all that even if you don't know any answer, please just take a shot in the dark because there are no negative markings here. This is not, again, your academic quizzes. You are very much welcome, and you are even encouraged to take a shot in the dark. Try and see if you can guess an answer, even if you feel like it's very vague and basically impossible. It could still be true. Forms will be closing in exactly 1 minute, so just please fill in everything quickly. Okay, we are closing soon. If there's anything left, just submit because we'll be closing imminently. And the forms are now closed. Please submit right now. Hello guys, we're back again. The forms have closed. So that is it for the prelims. Hope you all submitted your answers on time and hope you all did a fantastic job. We're looking forward to the results. I've also enabled live chat on the YouTube again, so you can discuss the answers if you feel like it. I will also be sharing the answers right now, so you can compare. Let's begin. Let's disclose the answers. First question, which logo? The logo based on the concept of sound connection between the mind, body, and soul. Uh, did anyone get this? Does anyone know the answer? Results will be announced as soon as we finish tabulating the answers. The club members are already on it, and you should expect the results as soon as possible. The results will be the top 30. The top 30 out of the submissions will move on to the next round. And the answer is very present on the YouTube chat. That is correct. It is the IIT Guwahati logo. It's sad that you have not been able to see the logo in person at the campus, but I'm sure we'll all be able to see that again very soon. Moving on. Second question. The Adoration of Magi by Giotto was painted in 1301. Why is this painting very important scientifically? Did anyone get this? Why it was important scientifically? That is correct. If you look closely in the background, you will be able to see Halley's Comet. So this was used as a method of dating when Halley's Comet first appeared over the skies of the Earth in recorded history. So the first observation of Halley's Comet is not by an astronomer or anything, it's an artist who was painting this. Moving on, earliest depiction of Halley's Comet. You have to mention that is Halley's Comet, just comet or meteor won't get your points because this is scientifically relevant because this is one of the reasons we found out how consistent Halley's Comet is in the Earth skies. IDX. So this was pretty straightforward. If you've seen the image, what company is this? Spelling does not matter. Spelling is fine. If the spelling is wrong, that works. As long as you convey that it's Halley's Comet. And yes, that is the correct answer. It is the logo of Mozilla Firefox. Very striking resemblance to, in fact. Moving on to the next question. Fourth question. What is this term that was added to the database in 2017, which is the favorite pastime of millennials? Only Firefox will get you points. Mozilla or Firefox or Mozilla Firefox. Binge watching is the correct answer. Sadly, it is not Netflix and chill, even though some of you would very much like to go to that. The answer is binge watching, which was a very popular word after the advent of Netflix. Only binge will not count because binge is already there in the dictionary and it means gorging on something, but binge watching was a specific term added to the dictionary. Binge watching or binge watch will do. Binging or binge will not be correct because that is already present in the dictionary. Moving on, this is the quick info profile of who. This is pretty obvious if you've seen any of his material. That is correct. This is the quick info profile of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, famous author of Sherlock Holmes. Any version of Arthur Conan Doyle will do. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Arthur Conan Doyle. Even author of Sherlock Holmes also works as an answer. Conan Doyle only is also okay. Any format of his name, as long as we understand his sir is not required. Sixth question. What did these four companies allegedly develop? Did anyone get the answer to this? Bitcoin is the correct answer, developed by Satoshi Nakamoto. The theory is that Satoshi Nakamoto is not a real person, but rather he's the combination of four companies, which is Samsung, Toshiba, Nakamichi, and Motorola. Bitcoin is the only correct answer here because Satoshi Nakamoto developed the currency of Bitcoin. So the only correct answer is Bitcoin, and it was mentioned in the question that I need what they developed, not the name of the person. So the Satoshi Nakamoto is also the incorrect answer. Bitcoin is the only correct answer here. BitConnect is also wrong. Thank you very much. Moving on, next question. If you have the word Bitcoin in your answer, that's good enough. You get points. Moving on, next question, seventh question. This is pretty obvious. 2007 protagonist version of the dish, main screen. It is Ratatouille. Very good answering, guys, as this is a summer question. Good answers. The Pixar movie, that was a smash hit, obviously. After the movie, people really crave that dish and even went as far as traveling to Paris just to try that dish. Ratatouille is the correct answer, and whatever spelling, as long as we understand what you mean, works. Eighth question. Which item when the Mughals invaded India? I can already see the answers in the chat. Yes, it is the immortal pun, which no feast is complete without. Any wedding you go, any occasion in India, you'll always be served pan at the end, and which is why the Mughals even exported this culture to the Middle East. Pan is the only correct answer, and moving on, ninth question. Who was this? Might be a little confusing because he's not related to football at all. Yes, that is the correct answer. It is the late Stephen Hawking, who was approached by the Footballing Association and they asked for his help in uh, making conclusions as to how best the England team can perform at the upcoming World Cup into the 2014, which didn't turn out very well since they were pretty bad at the World Cup. But points for trying, I guess. I mean, I clearly mentioned as a hint that this person can't play football. And I think it would be hard pressed to find a person who can't play football as much as Stephen Hawking. Next question, ID the legend. You guys should know this more than anyone. Yes, it is I.E. Irodov that you guys know so well from his physics textbooks. Still get nightmares. I.E. Irodov works, Irodov also works. Second question, it said Zeus once fought his father Kronos for the control of the world. They battled atop a mountain that overlooked a valley in southwestern Greece. This is pretty obvious. What did these religious festivals become? That's right, the Olympics or the Olympic Games. Anywhere, any format of Olympics will do. Olympus is a wrong answer because that's the name of a valley. Olympia is also wrong because that's the name of a place. I mentioned that I do not need the place that was in the blanks. I need the what the religious festivals eventually led to. Olympic Games is the only correct answer here. The valley was called Olympia or the Olympus Valley, but that is in the end the wrong answer. Olympics, Olympia. If you have the word Olympics or Olympic in your answer, it's correct. Don't worry about it. Next one, yes, even though it was rumored to be Tom Cruise, it is Raj from DDLJ in the end. I mean, Come on, this is the easiest question in the quiz, easily. Though it was a bit surprising that Tom Cruise was once in the running. Raj Malhotra works. The movie, I don't need the movie, the name of the character is good enough. Moving on, the 13th question. This is very obvious. You see it every day on the news. What is this building? It is the Parliament House, the Sansad Bhavan. Any answer which has Parliament in it works. As long as you have the word Parliament in it, it's the correct answer. So there's no worries here. Moving on, 14th correct, 14th question. What connects this exhaustive list of incidents? Keep in mind, guys, it is Tour de France, but what in Tour de France? What is this list of incidents? That's right, it is the only 4 occasions of deaths at the Tour de France. If you mention Tour de France, you'll get half points, you'll get a half mark. But the correct answer is deaths at the Tour de France. Deaths due to cycle racing is incorrect because there have been many deaths due to cycle racing, but these are the only instances of it at the Tour de France. If you mention Tour de France, we will give you half points for the question. 15th question. Yes. What do you mean by spermology? Okay, so I guess all of you have spanned study of seeds, which sadly is the wrong answer. Pomology, obviously, when you think of it and when you obviously look it up on the internet, always the first answer you get is that is the study of seeds. But that is the incorrect answer because the study of seeds and their structure is actually carpology. The answer is spermology is the study of trivia, not just answering trivia, but also how trivia is made and how to collect trivia, which is why it's the last question of the prelims because we have the quiz club at the end. If you've been thrown for a curveball, that's good because that's what we were planning. I know what all of you thought when you first saw the question. Yes, it is the collection of trivia. Okay, that's the 15 questions. Results will be up as soon as possible. And I will let you know once the results are up. That's it for the prelims, guys. Results are being tabulated right now, and we'll let you know as soon as possible. So, recapping, if anyone missed it, we had 85 responses. The top 30 will advance to the finals, where they'll be sorted into 10 teams of three members each. So we have a finals planned. It's slightly harder, but it's also all the more interesting. And even if you aren't selected for the finals, please do stay on and have a look because we will keep engaging with the audience and asking them questions if our quizzes fail. And obviously, you'll learn a lot. Okay, the results are almost out, guys. So it's only a bit more time waiting. It'll take a minute or so. We're just clearing up the end of the list because somehow it has turned out that some people have gotten the same number of questions and the same number of star mark questions correct too. So that leaves us in a tricky situation where we'll have to do sudden deaths, where the first person to answer it wrong in the prelims will get knocked out of contention. Okay, so the final list of finalists is out, and I will be revealing the names right now. With a high score of 14 out of the possible 15, in first place we have Aryan Singh, leading the pack as the only person who scored 14 points. Sadly, we haven't seen anyone score full marks because it seems like somehow everyone got the last question incorrect. In second place, you have Pranjal Singh. And as we go down the list, I will keep reading out the names of the finalists. In second place, you have Pranjal Singh. In third place, you have Gunjan Dhanuka, Soham Parundekar, Dhruv Samani, Advait Krishna A, Rushal Patel, Arnav Singh, Dhruv Tarsadia, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, Aburi Charishma, Aryan Bhushanwar, Shreya Satija, Harsh Sunil Chaudhary, Mukul, Dhruv Shah, Falguni Mahindra Power, Amay Singh, Shivendu Mishra, Rutunjay Rao, Arpan Anil Khandare, Krishna Kakolia, Mitali Poddar, Ripudaman Singh, Arya Fatke, Dev Shah, Just Yash, Lalit Brahma, Anindya Vijayvargiya, and Mohit Pal. That's our list of finalists, and we'll be back soon to you with news regarding the finals.
And you Arshita too. So that makes the finalist, and the finalist will be declared tomorrow, and we'll contact you individually. Yeah.
We initially did have to plan to have the finals right now, but regarding technical issues and we're running late. If you guys are clearly busy with other things, so it's fine. We will contact the finalists tomorrow again, and we will take into consideration that you're obviously busy right now. We will contact you tomorrow and fix a good date for the finals, and we will let you know when it's happening. Thank you guys. You've been amazing, and it was fun quizzing with you. We've seen some great quizzing. That's a very high score for the prelims, and we're all obviously excited to see what you're going to give us in the finals too. And if you did not make the finals, don't be disheartened. Everyone did so good this time. It was very hard for us to choose, and we obviously look forward to seeing you. If you want to keep involved with the quiz club, keep involved with the questions, keep involved with the quizzes that are happening on campus. Please check out the Facebook group. Aside from a Facebook page, we also have a Facebook group where we regularly post questions. Members of the quiz club regularly post questions on weekends, especially, and even weekdays sometimes. The like we do a lot of formal quizzes, but we also just post questions for fun, and anyone's free to attempt them in the comments of the post. Thank you guys. You've been great. It's fun hanging out with you. And we'll let you know about the finals as soon as possible over our Facebook page and over the Discord. And we will mail you personally. Thank you so much. Why are you spamming villager? Okay, anyways, your methods are beyond my understanding. And thank you. And that's good night for today. Inside jokes. Very good. Good night. Have a fun Christmas. It's Christmas Eve today. Have a fun Christmas, guys. Merry Christmas.